Well, hello man cavers, we are back. We have carb off the Norman again. I think this is where our trouble lies with that fuel drip we had. Not totally sure that's because I'd over tickled, and I think we may have found where that little piece come from. So it's back off the engine, as you can see. Let's roll them credits. And I got something to show you. So folks, we are back. Right, now if you remember, when I cleaned this carb out yesterday, this piece dropped out when I hadn't even had it to pieces, had I? You notice I was blowing it off on the outside and this bit just fell out, which I assume, well I know now, comes out of there. So we need to get this thing split back open. Do you remember? Ooh, back at me. Do you remember when I said that that main jet in there was loose? If you remember that, I said to you when I took it to pieces, I said, hang on, this main jet is loose, it's finger tight. Well, I think I've worked out what the problem is. So if we take this back off, there we go. Separate that again. Empty that fuel in there. There we go. Get the float back out. There we are. Right. I think the problem is this has come loose again, look. I actually nipped that down. Anyhow, I think there's all crap come out of there. Where's that come from? I think someone's put a piece of rubber around there. I really do. Anyhow, I think this piece has become detached off the top, like so. Let me show you something. Off the Google internet, I have an exploded diagram of this. Now, if we look closely, here's our main jet. And we need a, look at that, which is the main jet cap. Doesn't that look like it's got that little piece on the top of it? Can you see that? So all we in theory had, this bit dropped out. Let me get the flash on. That's it. In theory, this bit dropped out. All we was left with was this bit. And that bit is meant to, it's not a press fit. I think it may have been sweated on or something from factory. But I think we need to try and solder that back on, because I'm pretty sure that that has to go back on there. Right. And also, because when I blew this one out and this bit shot out, did I put it back in the right way, having it that way up? Because we have a diagram here. And which way is that showing us? It actually is showing the cap on the top. Does it even fit back in the carb the other way? It does, but it's, yeah, that's wobbling around like a turd in a pea pot. That certainly isn't right. These jets are not plugged. I can still see through them perfectly. But to be belt and braces, seeing though I've got it to pieces again, I will chuck all this in the ultrasonic bath. This piece of the carb, I'm leaving well alone. I think this section's fine, and I don't want to go taking... You separate this, and looking at these diagrams, when you separate these 4 screws, all you're really going to be taking the bits in there is, there's no jets in there or nothing. It's just a choke tube, look. If you look at H is choke tube. So we're not going to take butterflies out, and I think we'll leave the top end of this carb well alone. because I think this bit is absolutely fine. I suppose we could chuck it in the ultrasonic bath while it's out. We'll do that, but I'm not going to disassemble it. Disassemble it. So what can we do about this? I don't like my chances of trying to get another one of these. So I think that goes on there. And that goes on there like so. Whoops, if we drop it. But then, that won't touch, look. Which, do you reckon that's why this was loose? Because, do you reckon the guy glued this and then just put it down? I don't know. Is there anything that go around this piece with the holes? Because this is all free. When that's back on the carb only comes down to this shoulder. So these 4 holes here are all venting out of air. Should there be something over them? Looking at my little diagram here, I don't think so. We've got the carb body, a washer, and there's the little bit with the 4 holes, look. With the nut S. There's the tube, D, as this piece inside here. I think, there's a tube inside that. This is truly bizarre, this little thing. It really is a little bit bizarre. Not really sure what to make of this. Let's take this out as well and see what's under there. Alright, under here, we have this piece, look. And there is a little washer under there. So we have that piece there. That goes in there. That goes on there. And then I think that cap on there. But we have too much of a gap. I'm wondering if we should solder this back on and then put some fibre washers on there to space that out a little. Because this was loose when we got the end. Do you remember me saying, oh, that's loose? Well, I think he's probably glued this on with super glue or something. And he didn't want to over tighten it because that would have just, there you go, it's now starting to push that off, look. So I reckon we need to put this on with a couple of fibre washers in there. I know it isn't how it should be, but trying to get hold of one of these jets also isn't going to be easy. Right, let me get this lot in the ultrasonic bath, and then we're going to try. I don't know whether this will solder on. I hope so. I hope if I clean it enough. You know, that's not even a clean break. It's like, if you turn it, it actually fits into a certain position. It's like this has been over tightened and pushed this off. Alright, I'm going to stop faffing, get the ultrasonic set up, and we'll give it a go. Here we go. So we've got a bit of solution there. We'll just dump all these brass pieces in, including our little broken piece, emulsion tube, and whoops-a-daisy. I need a bigger ultrasonic cleaner, look. Although this bit actually isn't that bad. It really isn't that bad. My lid don't even go down. I'm not going to put this bit in. It's only a casing anyhow. Tell you what we'll do. There is a jet there, isn't there? So I did see through all these yesterday. We'll chuck that little jet in there as well. We'll leave this out because there's nothing to clean on that. Nor the float. I mean, that's good. Let's just put these bits on. There we go. We'll be back when these done. Ah. There we go. So that's our ultrasonic cleaning done. I did pop this valve out of the top. I thought, let's just give them a go. So let's retrieve all our bits. There we are. Don't think there's any more bits, is there? No, that's all of it. That's surprising how much crap has actually settled out of these, considering they were done with brake cleaner and then blown out. There were still gritty bits come out of these. Unbelievable. Right, let's just give these some air. Just to dry them off. Yeah, I'm not sure about all of this. I'm really not sure about all of this. Right. I'll tell you for why I'm not sure about all this, because we've got these holes in the bottom here. And this basically sits up in there. And this bit is all exposed out of the engine. Do you know what I mean? That's just going to be drawing atmospheric air in there. Is that right? Should them holes be exposed like that? I would not have a clue. That don't sit right with me, that these should be exposed to the air. This ain't sitting right, because this goes up into there, allowing that air to come in, look. So that don't sit right, that should be like that. But this has been snapped a long time, because it's all oxidised on the top. It's not a fresh brake, so that's been off there a long time. Alright, I think what we're going to do is I will run my little needle, my little jet cleaners through all these little pilots. I mean, I can see through them, so they aren't bad. They're certainly not plugged, but we'll have a look. So let me get my little files out and see if we can get through these. Of course, this engine was drawing no fuel at all. It just weren't drawing any fuel up. Yeah, these are spotlessly clean. I will just file them out. A tiny bit to get any crud out. In case there's a little bit of build-up of scale. I don't think they'll go next size up, will they? No, that size is too big. So it's definitely this size. Right, we're waffling. Yeah, these are fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with them at all. Let's just give them a little blow through, just to get any crap out that I've dislodged. That's fine. Right, guys, I think I need to get some cleaning done. Clean these edges up. Let me blow this out. Yeah, there's definitely no blockage through there. So before I forget where everything goes, let's put this one back in here. Then I'll know everything's in the right place. There we are, that's back in. But I just keep looking at my diagram to see where any problems could lie. Can you see anything? What we're obviously missing there? There's our little cap with the little piece on top. And that's not listed as two separate parts, so I'm assuming that cap is meant to be on there. Of course, these old drawings are normally pretty damned accurate. We got our thread with our holes, then another thread. Where is that piece gone? Here it is. Yeah, there's the thread with holes, then another piece. Hang on. This piece with the cap on, in that picture, it doesn't look like it's got these holes. But these holes are definitely factory. It's not like they've been added at any point. They're definitely factory holes. I don't know. Just seems weird that these holes are just exposed to atmospheric air. I can't think that's just going to pull it in and no fuel. I don't know. Venturi, I don't know. Someone will have to explain this to me. Somebody more intelligent than me. Right. Believe me, that don't take a lot. Let's get that cleaned up and then we'll see if we can get some soldering done. So we've cleaned these ends up. There we go. So they're nice, bright and shiny now. Now I'm hoping I can gently hold this in a pair of mole grips, putting the tiniest bit of pressure on to hold that in place. And then we can put the mole grips maybe in the vise. Of course, that cap is just going to fall off when I start heating it and poking it, so I don't know whether my little plan is going to work. I guess the only way to find out is to see if we can nip that really, really gently. That might be about right. If I get that in the right place, in fact that's all flat now, so it basically sits in any position. Right, let's see if we can gently nip that. I wouldn't say that's gentle enough. There you go. Right, I think our cap is on there. Now, are we going to get a little bit of heat in here? Yep, I hope there's a little tiny gap in there. I can just see daylight through there in a couple of places, so I'm hoping the solder will actually get in there and actually hold this. And I've got them mole grips in a vise. Let me get you set up. Right, let's see if we can get a little bit of heat on that. So I'm going to turn the math gas down quite low. But we don't want to overheat this damn thing. But we want it hot enough where the solder will melt. So I'm going to have to, where is my solder? That's up here, look. This is self-fluxing solder. So we want to just see. There you go, that's just about hot enough, look. There you go. Oh, do you know, I think that just might have held that cap. Now we seem to have gone around the bottom of that cap. That don't seem to be bonding it. Ah, there we go. Now we're on it, I think. Right. I don't care if I put too much on. I can always take it off. I just want to get a good seal on there. There we go. Alright, let's just drop that in and see if, well, it's held it on, guys. Ah! I mean, we've got a big old blob of solder on here. We need, whoops, there we go. We've got a big old blob on there, a big chipper, but it seems to have held that cap on. That cap does seem to be on there. We seem to have a little solder sweat all the way round. Just this knob that need to come off. Right, let me clean this knobbler up and then we'll see what we're up against. Right, so we have ground our little valve down. And that cap is on there nicely now. So I think we need to get this jet back together. Still a bit of crud around there. I'm going to clean that up in a wire wheel, I think. Let me get this cleaned up in a wire wheel. All these bits, because as I saw the Ultrasonic don't seem to have done much. I will clean them, then we'll be back. So we got our bits back and I've given them a nice clean up. I've had a little bit of a wire wheel. Clean all them bits up. Right, I think what we've got to do, see that sits, hang on, why does that seem to be sitting further down now than it was? No, that is hitting on that. So that is now hitting on that. If we tighten that, it's going to push that top off again. But would you agree that that's the way in that goes? Because going in that now, that only goes halfway, and it's got to go in that way, isn't it? We look at our diagram again. Oh, look at this diagram. See, we've got the shoulder at the top by the look of that. So yeah, I think we're right here. But I don't like how that'll only go so far. And then that's going tight. Should that just be finger tight like that? Does that all fit back in there? It does. That does go back in there, look. Yeah, that does fit back in there. I will just run a nylon brush around the inside of that to clean that out. But yeah. I don't like how, because that was loose when I took it out. I'm going to see if I can get a little, have I got the correct size copper, have I got the correct size copper things, to go over that. That's way too big. It's the only thing with having everything bloody metric. Nothing fits quite right. I wish I could find Imperial or even Whitworth copper rings. I think that might stop that. That's still loose, look. And I don't really want to go putting 2 or 3 of them on there. Let's have a look at nylon ones. Or does it not need them and we can just have it in there loose? I wouldn't have thought that would have gone on there loosely though. I wouldn't have thought loose would have been right at all. See, these things jump up from one size to another, look. They don't go up nicely. I can't say you could use an O-ring on there either. So I wouldn't have thought that would have been right. They are certainly too small. Ah, that one's the right size. That one's the right size, guys. I mean, it's a bit big, but I can sort that out, I think. That goes over the thread neatly, that one. Have I got another one that size? Should be loads in here. They've all got jumbled up, that's the problem. There we go. There we go, we've got 3 on there now. Will that be enough? Right, can we get away with 2? Yes, we can. I think 2 of these will be enough. I just don't want to tighten that and pop that off again. Now we're going 3. Right, let me tidy this lot up because that's a bit crude, and let me tidy all that up and we can be back. Right guys, we have made our little thing. There we go. Now what we did with that is we sort of filed them right down. Now with the 3 in there, when I tightened it up, I could hear that jet rattling when I shook it. So I undone it again and took one out. So we've effectively made these shims. So I took one of them out, nipped it up again, and now I can't hear a rattle. So that looks in there tight and airtight. So I think that's the best we're going to get it. Now to see if we can clean this hole out where that goes in. So I'm just going to get a brass wheel on the gun and go through there. And just see if we can clean that hole out just a whimsy. There we go. There we go. We're going through all them. There we are. Right, now will this jet fit in there? Perfectly, look at that. Right, that is how that jet goes in. But it's still, you're still going to see them holes. And I don't get that at all, because I don't even throw a threaded flare. It doesn't even thread in there, it just sits. Very, very bizarre. Anywho, we're going to put our little O-ring back on. And we're going to put he back in there. Where he belongs. There we are. And we'll give him a tighten up. And then I think we can be getting this carburetor. Oh, where's the spanner I had for that? And we can get this carburetor back together. Right. Let's get this back together. let's tighten this one up. There we go. There you go. So that one's tightened back in the bottom there. We'll get our float back in. Now we need to put our jet hair back in. That ain't the jet, sorry, that's the float valve. Just check that. Yeah, that is sealing absolutely perfectly, so we ain't got to worry too much about that one. But that's going back in with its O-ring. Pretty sure I've got all the jets out of there now. I think everything's back in the carb. That one's nipped up. Right. Yeah. And there is, if you look on the picture, that is actually a metal fit. Metal to metal fit. There don't seem to be a gasket listed on there. Even on the list at the bottom, it doesn't state gasket anywhere. So they must be a metal to metal fit. Which is very bizarre. That is very bizarre. Right, let's not forget and put that in the wrong way again. That looks weird. That looks like that's going to take air in from everywhere here. Of course, this jet hair just plonks up there. Just don't seem like this carb's going to be airtight anyway. It's like there ought to be a gas. I don't know, maybe there isn't. Ah, we're coming through there now a bit better, look. Can't see that, can you? Yeah, we're actually coming through here a little bit better. Now this is back together. I say, that jet there just sits up in that hole. Just doesn't seem like this is going to be airtight at all. Well, we're going to try it. I think, but looking at our diagram, this is how Solex made the damn thing, so hopefully it'll be alright. So we'll just nip this back up again. I'm not going to give it a tremendous amount of stick, but we want to give it enough where it's going to hold, don't we? That we do. There you go, let's nip them up. Right, I think we can be getting this carb back on the engine. So that one just pulls on this throttle, look, yeah, there we go. Let me just run my little pointer through that little jet in the middle there. I mean, all the others were clear, so I can't see why that one wouldn't be. But we will just... Oh yeah, I'm poking right through it, look. That's fine. Right. Yeah. What is that piece on the top? I've got a little button on the top of that body. There's nothing going to it. It must just be a plug, because there's nothing. Yeah, it's at the end of this tube, look, at the end of that little tube there, that shows nothing, so that's obviously not a removable part. Right, I'm going to get you back outside and we'll get this back on the Norman. Ah! Well guys, we are going to leave the video here. We will be getting the carb back on the Norman, because when we get it back on, we're going to go for a start. And this video is going to be way too long, but I'm off faffed around starting it. So the next installment will be, will it start? Right, that's going to be it. And we will see you guys next time with the Norman. Ah! Little putty cat.